So as part of my ongoing series here, I want to start to do weekly videos where I just address one of the fundamentals from my perspective about the psychedelic therapy experience and process that may not be clearly understood or may not be common knowledge, things that are kind of under addressed or not clearly articulated. I want to start to include more here on the channel. Now, part of the reason I'm doing this is because I realize that I've made a lot of content, but it's not always clear why I'm talking about what I'm talking about. And so I want to start to spell it out for you as an audience and connect the dots between taking psychedelics and the types of things I talk about here. So it's in that spirit that I want to make this video today. And really, this is just a short message from me to you, a short key point I want you to wrap your head around. Okay. Now, most of the psychedelic space, and by this I mean, the legalization movement, the enthusiast movement, the blogosphere, the YouTube videos, the people who are excited about the psychedelic science, all of that, most of the psychedelic space is hung up on the medicines and on the dosing, right? Like, well, how much should I take 10 grams of mushrooms or 3, How often? What's the protocol? What's the frequency? What does integration mean? What does integration look like? What modalities should I use? Do I need to hire a trip sitter or a therapist? It's all these questions about the basics. And that's where all the energy is in the discussion. And so little of the discussion out there, from my perspective, is actually about the heart of the experience of healing, the kinds of themes and material, wisdom, insights, experiences, memories, breakthroughs, patterns, etc., that start to arise, that are common amongst people, that are kind of universal themes, or that are particular and need skill and understanding to address and move through. Again, this channel, in a lot of ways, is here to be a resource for you if you're someone who is either just exploring psychedelics for fun, if you're trying to DIY your own healing journey and you want to understand how that works, if you're someone who's just curious about psychedelics and really wants to hear about it from someone who has a lot of experience with it. I'm really trying to do my best to address not the superficial layer, again, of dosage and what type of medicine and XYZ, because there's tons of that content out there. Quite frankly, I think it's kind of shallow and boring and repetitive. The real juicy stuff is understanding what actually comes up. And what actually comes up isn't about the medicine. Like the medicine doesn't heal you. The medicine is like it's like a lubricant would be for a massage, like a lotion would be for a massage. The medicine is for your own personal growth process. It lubricates, it smooths things, it allows things to unfold more easily, but it doesn't heal you directly. So there's no answer to what dosage is going to fix my XYZ problem. It's really about understanding how healing works. It's really about understanding the therapeutic territory. It's really about kind of existential questions like, what is the nature of love, for example, as a simple, like inquiry that might be core to someone's therapeutic process. It's these kinds of deeper questions that really are what arise. And if I can be frank here, in my experience, I've been logged a lot of hours on psychedelics, but also coaching people sober all the time, these questions come up in both contexts. Like really what's at the heart of the psychedelic experience more often than not are questions that have been explored by people sober, even the deep spiritual ones, even the deep, like, is reality real type questions. Even these questions are frequently explored by people in sober states. So the idea I want to leave you with here is all the discussions we're having here on the channel, for the most part, are going to be highly relevant to a journey on psychedelics or with psychedelics for the purpose of, say, healing or personal growth, personal development, spiritual awakening, or even just exploration. You just like these medicines. And really, I'm here to help resource you and teach you about that territory a lot more than about the medicines themselves. I'm happy to address questions about the medicines, and I don't want to ignore that per se, but I feel like the focus is way put too much there, both either by people coming to psychedelic therapy who are, have heard all these amazing glowing reports and studies, and, they've seen the YouTube documentaries and whatnot, and they have this like flawed notion that they can just go consume a thing and they don't have to do the work, and it will just rewire their brain and fix them and they'll be healed. There's a lot of that. There's also just a lot of overfocus on the medicines by therapists, quite frankly, a lot of whom, are excited to have something that facilitates going deeper, easier, or might speed up the process of healing for people. And I think also there's another segment there that are just happy to have these substances be legitimized in our culture and our society and find a role and a place in society again, which I think is all that's valid and beautiful. But it materializes, it makes mechanistic and materialistic something that's ultimately a subjective, internal, personal, and transpersonal experience. So anyways, I'm off on a little bit of a soapbox here, but I just want to share that with you to let you know why I talk about the things I do. So when you go back and you look at my video catalog, you're looking at, why is Dave talking about this tangent or that tangent? A lot of it, these are the things that come up on psychedelics. These are pieces of the territory of healing. So I hope that makes sense. So it's not for no reason. There's a reason why I've shared everything I've shared so far, and I'll continue to do so. So just so you know, going forward here, I will be creating more frameworks, and I've got like a new course in the works, and I've got stuff. I've got organizational material to help you understand this more clearly. But I will also be posting a lot from this teaching series that I'm doing here of just the basics. And I'll also be sharing, of course, intuitively as I go along, because as a coach, I like to coach from the zeitgeist. I like to coach from what the collective themes are, what people are chewing on, what people are thinking about, and not just have a pre-planned, regimented, linear thing, because life is organic and changing and adaptive all the time. And I think speaking to that as a coach for me feels better, first of all, and second of all, I think resonates for people more. So anyways, that's all for now. So point being, consider that there's a difference between the territory here of actually exploring healing and the insights and the themes that arise from using the medicines versus talking about the medicines themselves or the therapy modality or the, protocol of how many sessions and then integration, that kind of a thing. So let me know, does that clarify something for you? Does that land for you? And if this resonates for you, join the community, leave a comment down below, check out the links down below. There's a Substack. You can join me there, et cetera, et cetera. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.